What is up, everybody? We are back. Welcome to another episode. My name is Gerard. This is my little brother Alex. The missing guy is JR. And this is another episode of the GAJ Podcast. Woo! We are back. And we got a good one. We have a good one. First of all, thank you for putting up with us for not being here for a week.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, sorry. Excuse me, 2 weeks.
I think the 15th is the last time we recorded. So we released it probably a few days after that.
Yeah, so we are right at 2 weeks. We are going to catch you guys up on where we've been and what we've been doing. I'm pretty excited because, yeah, it was a good week off.
2 weeks off.
2 weeks off. Excuse me. Correcting. It was a good week off and then a busy week get back into the swing thing. So there's our 2 weeks. Real quick, if you've never been with us before, thank you so much for checking us out. If you've been here before, welcome back. Please consider subscribing, liking the episode, and maybe even contributing in the comments on some ways we might be able to be a little more entertaining and open for you guys. All right. Yeah, let's get into it. I think we're just going to work into it. We're going to kind of go with our normal rhythm, and I think you'll figure out where we've been and what we've been doing. And as always, let's start out with our favorite pastime, eating, with a segment we like to call Mom's Spaghetti. Let's start with Mom's Spaghetti. Let me find it real quick because I forgot to bring it up before we started here. But Mom was inspired by a little time off as well. Where'd it go? Here we go. And she has no pictures yet anyway from our trip. But she did share this with me. A little inspiration from Costa Rica. A paella dish she made at home. Little rice. Looks like there's some calamari and some mussels. A few shrimps in there. And clams. So I don't know if... There's no way she brought this home from the resort, but it looks pretty good. A little bit better picture there. Yeah. So that is what Mom contributed for Mom's Spaghetti this week. What did you have, dude? Did you get home in time to get a little Filipino cuisine or even today?
I did, but before I did that, sorry, doing a little screen sharing. All right, give me a sec.
I see it coming up. There we go. Out of there.
No response spaghetti, more like Mom's curry curry.
Oh,
and menudo.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I had this the last day. Well, really, I was in Chicago for, I think, less than 24 hours. So I was able to go to Mom's before my flight and just chow down. Not as much as I wanted to, but I got as much as I could stuff in my belly. But she had menudo.
Okay, you had a little menudo.
I think she called it Ilocano style, which means it's not as saucy. It's good.
I was about to ask you. It looks like it's not so heavy on
the sauce. Yeah, so it was a little bit different. Still good, but a little bit different.
I bet it was still delicious.
And then the menudo, not the curry curry, of course, is just not Mom's spaghetti, Mom's curry curry. That's kind of the.
We might have to change the name. That might be
Mom's curry curry.
Mom's curry curry.
That was
most of our audience will get it, but that's because most of our audience is one person. So
yeah, and she likes it too.
And she likes it too.
She had some of it also because Mom made a lot, so she had a lot left over to. She had a lot to get to Christina and Paul.
Well, right on. Right on. Am I too dark?
What's that?
Am I too dark? Oh,
Nah.
There we go. I had to...
Maybe too tan from being in Costa Rica.
Hey.
That was in Chicago when I got back. What the hell's that?
Nice.
This is a week ago. Hold on.
Let's just keep it going, baby.
So on the right, I believe that's beef caldereta. On the left, that's lechon paksiw. And then
Okay.
the guy that was ordering food behind me, he was asking for lechon sauce and they didn't know what he was saying. He grabbed me and said, "Tell him what I want." So I went, "Mang Tomas." Mang Tomas. And I was like, "I'll take some too." So that's what's on the left there.
That's
But
awesome.
You generally don't put on lechon paksiw, but I did it.
Well, lechon paksiw is made with Mang Tomas already. Like you put the sauce in the pot.
Put more on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not mad at it. I like it.
So that was last week. Then today, I went. This was a nice little surprise. They had some, I think, leftover from breakfast. They had some both chicken tocino and pork tocino.
Ooh.
So I got the pork, which is what's one on the right here, and then chicken afritada. So it's like breakfast and lunch.
Hell yeah.
Tocino's not really. I mean, it's breakfast food, but I think it's fine as non-breakfast food. And it was delicious.
You know what's cool is, so one of my favorite things about a lot of Filipino dishes is when you say leftovers, it's not like it tasted less than when it was brand new. In a lot of cases, it actually tastes better.
Yeah. A lot of times the
Marinates
sauce
a little more,
settle and thicken.
Yeah.
Like that chicken afritada, you can tell the sauce is a little bit thin. But if you let that sit out for 20 minutes, I bet it, without touching, I bet it thickens up.
Gels up a little bit and gets more absorbed into the meat. Hell yeah, dude. It's like for, people that don't know what this is, think of like a good stew or a good chili. Like a good pot of chili, like you don't finish in the first night because you're going to eat it the next night and probably on another cold night. And chili, this is kind of the same way. It gets better. You heat it back up and more of that flavor gets absorbed into the ingredients, and man, that turns into some good stuff. So looks real good, bruh. Looks real good.
Coming up here, when I was in Chicago, we went to the city, went downtown. We stopped by a Filipino bakery, and they had ube chocolate chip cookies.
Holy
white chocolate
cow!
So I ate this on the plane. It was
so
pretty
that's
good.
what Christina's text was all about then, because I had no idea.
Yeah, stopped by there, I think yesterday.
Very cool.
But they also had, I didn't get a picture of this, but they had longanisa quiche.
Whoa.
Which was good, but
whoa.
I feel like they kind of went light on the longanisa.
Yeah, that's an oily thing, so I could see
I want to eat the meat.
Yeah. I think I would just rather have longanisa and some fried eggs, but I would try it.
What else do I got here? So I was hanging around the Filipino market last week, and I was like, "Whoa, what's this sauce?" I think it's a Mang Tomas ripoff,
new version,
or a competitor. I was like, you can't, for some reason, you couldn't drink in Mang Tomas for a while because of whatever reason. So I thought this was a replacement. So this is Lydia's lechon. I did not get it though. But today I was there at the market, and guess who's back?
Attaboy.
They
even have the spicy one.
So I got one of the spicy ones. I don't know what I'm going to put it on. I just want to have it,
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Put on, I don't know, but I have it.
One of the reasons they were thinking it wasn't going to be able to come into the States anymore is because of like all the preservatives. So it's not going to go bad.
The only thing is that they make the regular Mang Tomas, the non-spicy one, in a much bigger bottle, but they don't make the spicy one in the big bottle.
Yeah.
That always annoys me.
That.
I forgot how much that annoys me.
I do remember that. I'm okay with the small one because I use it so far. My ability to use it is like far and few between. And then I'm the only one that eats it because it's too hot for Ashley.
Oh, really?
So usually we'll have, if I can find it, I get a small bottle of the hot and then a big bottle of the regular.
I can figure out what else I could put that on.
Fried chicken, bro. Fried chicken.
Right. I was putting on fried chicken before and roasted chicken.
Yeah. Huh?
I was putting on fried chicken and roasted chicken.
And yeah, rotisserie chicken.
But then I stopped doing that because chicken got expensive. They raised the prices.
No kidding, dude.
I went, well, give that up for a little bit.
Here's one for you. Get some go to like an Asian store and get like the good like pork rinds, the good chicharron.
Yeah.
put it in the oven for a few minutes, and then dip that in your manx mas.
That could work.
It does work. It's not as good as like pork belly lechon, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah. That's all I got. I mean, I didn't take any pictures of food when we were in Costa Rica.
Man, I
really enjoyed this tocino though. I really enjoyed this pork tocino.
Yeah, I got a few pictures.
And of course, curry curry.
That curry, man. Oh, I'm craving that now. We went. So a couple weeks ago, I'd mentioned that we went to the one like Filipino restaurant, traditional Filipino restaurant here in Kansas City, with our neighbors, and the curry was good there too. It wasn't as good as Mom's, but it was pretty solid, especially for here in Kansas City where I can rarely get that anyway. But yeah, Mom's Kitty. So if you haven't figured it out yet, we were in Costa Rica for a week. And if you haven't figured out, there were some moments based on the title of the episode. I'm not crying, you're crying. One of us got married. And if you look at the taglines, you might be able to tell who it was. A little more tan, a little more married. So it was a great trip, and getting back into some mom spaghetti.
Oh, my tag said best man, so it's probably not me that was getting married.
You did. We're going to get into that in a little bit, because there's some good stuff to talk about there. Let me bring this one back up. So to preface, I'm usually pretty decent at taking food pictures. However, in all the excitement of everybody getting to Costa Rica for the wedding, trying to keep my phone close and still keep all the drinks in my hand and get in the pool, and I forgot my phone was in my pocket, carried all my drinks into the pool, and then 20 minutes later realized the phone's still in my pocket. So the phone got fried, which made it a little more difficult to get.
Not fried, it drowned.
No, yeah, you're right. It didn't get fried. It got drowned. But I did get a few pictures. This one is actually I don't know what this is from, but one of my favorite things from the resort. We went to an all-inclusive resort in Costa Rica. Secrets Papagayo. Shout out to the staff there. They were freaking amazing. Just on top of everything. Had a great time. And I got to tell you, we went for a sneak peek last year. And one thing I didn't try because we were in Costa Rica, and who gets pizza in Costa Rica? Well, we tried it once this year, and ultimately I probably had it 4 more times. This is the margarita pizza. This is, I think this is one of the ones that we got when we were in the room, because this is a smaller one. But their pizza was awesome. Like, I don't know what you thought, but I thought the pizzas were delicious.
The thing about the margarita pizza, I think it's good, but I want meat on that thing.
Yeah, I
want some meat.
One thing I would change is like
throw sausage on there. It's perfect.
Sausage or maybe some prosciutto. That would have been. I agree. That would have been pretty tasty. Let me see what else I got here. Oh man, I gotta tell you, so it was fun with everybody there, but it was also kind of fun when we had a little more fun when everybody left, because when I tell you we freaking ate. Like, we went to dinner fairly early at one of the restaurants, but then we also wanted to try local cuisine. And what we learned was that the buffet at the resort always has a section with a different local cuisine every day. So we were having the last 3 days that we were there. We had breakfast, we had a snack, we had lunch, we had another snack, we had dinner, then we had second dinner and dessert, and then we had second dessert, and it was awesome. I wish I had a picture of one of those local dishes because it was really, really good. But what was really cool on our last night there, the last morning there, because we got married there, they actually arranged for us to have a romantic breakfast in bed. And I don't know if you can see that, but let's see if I can scroll down.
Did they take your order? Did they order for you?
So when we did all the scheduling, we kind of put together an order. It was way too much food. I'll just tell you that much. It was way too much food because we had no idea really what we were getting, right? So, but it was still cool because we got literally breakfast in bed. I kept the tray on the bed so I could keep the coffee on there without spilling all over ourselves. But huge plates of like fresh fruit, huge plate of like eggs and hash browns and sausage and bacon. Oh, it was delicious. And then, because we're in bed and they set up the rooms right, we had a nice little view while we were eating breakfast in bed for our last morning in paradise. It was awesome. It was what a trip. We're going to get into it more. But the eating was real good. I'll be honest, I don't even want to show you any of the other pictures I had from the last week because Costa Rica was freaking amazing. And yeah, it was a very good time. That was Mom's Spaghetti. If you haven't figured out yet, we're going to be talking a lot about Costa Rica. So we're just going to move into our next segment where we're probably going to talk about it more. Hey, Dad, watch this, or the segment formerly known as Out and About. Alex, lead us off, man. I know you just put up some pictures. I didn't get to go through all of them yet, but what do you want to show off, bro?
I don't have any pictures on my computer as far as Costa Rica goes, but do you have pictures? Because I can talk about what I've done outside of Costa Rica.
Yeah, let me.
So while you're pulling that up, so another season of flag football has begun. Summer season.
Oh yeah, cool.
I'm going on Fridays. The hard part was that I typically register close to deadline for a new season of football, but we were in Costa Rica. I totally forgot to sign up, so I signed up after deadline. I had to send an email, and they said, "Okay, well, you're going to be on a wait list." And I said, "Okay, whatever." But Friday, Thursday and Friday,
that you just sign up with usually.
Yeah, so on Thursday and Friday, I kept checking my emails. I'm like, "Am I on the team? Am I on the team?" And then on Friday, probably close to lunchtime, I got confirmation I was on a team. So I was like, "Oh, great!" Of course, I got stuck at work late because some shit was happening, and I had missing the beginning of the game, and I wasn't stretched out. So in between plays, I'm trying to stretch. It's a new team, so we're trying to get used to each other, trying to figure out what each other does.
Sure.
And
yeah.
They're a pre-existing team, so I went on as a free agent, and I wasn't getting a whole lot of targets, but kind of new to the team, so I wasn't really figuring things out. And on defense, I was playing safety, which I usually don't play, so I wasn't I wasn't as comfortable doing that. Then eventually I moved to cornerback, but I did get one target on offense. So I caught the ball, I bobbled it a little bit, but I caught it as I extended out because if I extend out the ball, where you get tackled, or sorry, where your flag gets pulled, you're down where the ball is at. That's why people extend out their arms.
Yep.
So I bobbled the ball,
those rules real well.
Ran, extended out as defenders are coming near me, and then got tackled, clobbered. To the point where I fumbled the ball.
You got tackled?
Yeah. There's no fumbling in flag football. If you drop the ball, it's just a dead ball.
It's a dead ball, yeah.
So I got the catch, I got the yards, and then I got the penalty yards for illegal contact.
Yeah.
But the guy was cool. The guy didn't mean to do it. It's because he was like, he apologized and he helped me up, and we're just kind of like throwing it out, saying, "Yeah, it's all good."
Yeah, the thing about flag football that you got to remember is guys are still going full speed, and nobody can stop on a dime if you're going fast enough. So
last season,
not to blast you, but
last season I actually had the ball on offense. I got a catch. I was running. There was a defender. I thought about spin moving, and then there was another defender where I was going to spin move too. So I just kept running straight and not knowing what to do. And I just totally ran over some defender.
Whoops.
We both went down, but I picked him right back up. That was not an illegal contact. That was just a oopsie.
Just incidental.
That was oopsie, and we helped each other up, and it was all good.
I was running this way and looking this way. He was running this way and looking that way. And
I went to spin move, and then my legs didn't spin move. My brain and my legs were not on the same page, and it resulted in me clobbering some dude.
Well, while we're on, that's first of all, that's pretty awesome. I'd love to play flag football. I don't know anybody that wants to run a team around here, and we don't have beaches, so I don't think
here we have the leagues are beach, grass, and turf. But I don't want to play on turf. I don't want to play on grass. Turf is like if you fall down, you're
getting rug burn.
Hurt.
Yeah, you're getting rug burn like a motherfucker.
If I fall down on turf, I'm not getting up. You're gonna have to get a stretcher. That's why I don't play it.
Yeah. Turf would be hard. It becomes a lot faster too.
And I've been playing beach so long that I'm used to just jumping in on the ground and picking myself back up. Even landing on sand, sometimes it hurts. But it's not gonna be like turf or grass.
No. I mean, it's.
But my body, when I'm playing football, my body already thinks like, if you fall down, you're fine.
Yeah. That's actually, so it's kind of funny you say that, and people might think, I don't understand, that doesn't make sense. It does, because when your body gets used to a certain rhythm, like there's one thing, playing basketball, not that I play a lot of basketball anymore, but run up and down the court, jumping, landing, no big deal. The only volleyball I've played in the last probably 15 years has been on sand. So if I get on a hard court and play volleyball, my knees hurt because I can't get my brain to transition fast enough to the fact that I'm landing on a very hard surface versus the sand. So I could imagine flag football being the same way. You play so much in sand, you go to play 1 week in turf or even grass, and you're going to feel a little different in the morning.
I don't even want to try it because the risk of injury is so high.
Yeah. It's recovering is not as easy anymore. But yeah, so another thing that I'm going to pull up, but I'm going to have you talk about a little bit, is the speech. If you haven't figured out, my brother was obviously my best man, and I probably did it on here a little bit, probably gave you a little bit of a hard time about having to give a speech at my wedding. And I knew you were going to kill it. I knew you were going to have great things to say, have a memorable speech. Man, I gotta tell you you got everybody. You definitely got me, because I knew it was going to be a good speech, but damn, dude, you tore it up. We're not going to play the speech or anything like that, except for the front end of it, and I don't think you can hear it anyway. But
it's on mute right now.
Yeah, it won't. I don't think you'll be able to hear it anyway. Well, let me try. Can you hear it?
No.
So I'm just going to let you talk about this front end of that speech, because you can even recite it back if you want to. It was pretty cool. And again, it got me going anyway.
Well, I thought it was customary to kind of set up the environment, because people traveled a long way. We're in a different location that's very exotic. There's a staff that was servicing us, so I made sure to give a little nod to them.
Absolutely.
Acknowledge the people that you're meeting for the first time, and of course, acknowledging the people that you've known your entire life. And so let's rewind this back. I was best man at Juan's wedding in Mexico 12 years ago. So right after that, I kind of thought it. I was kind of thinking, I was like, if you when you get married, I'm probably gonna have to give a speech, whether I'm best man or not. So I kind of started thinking about it back then. I knew that I had to play off the little brother angle way back then, and start going that direction. And I knew I wanted to say OH. I didn't say that at Quan's wedding. I did mention Ohio State, though. But I knew I kind of had those parts put together, and then most of the speech probably came to my head. I was thinking about it a year in advance, and then a couple months in advance, and then probably the last three weeks is when it started to really formulate. And then I was kind of revising it up until like the day before.
Okay. I just realized this is your second time being best man at a destination wedding.
At a destination, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then
were there a bunch of hometown homies at Quan's?
Was there what?
Were there a bunch of hometown kids?
A couple of guys from Ohio State. 2 other guys from Ohio State.
Okay, so.
But he also married someone from. His wife was from Taiwan, and her family flew in from Taiwan, and their English isn't that great. So, audience-wise, it was kind of hard for me to connect with them.
Yeah, I gotcha. And you can't get too much into like.
Yeah, they're not gonna
things that are too local, and they won't get it anyway.
They're not. They didn't have that same type of similar upbringing.
Right.
But probably, I'd say right after the wedding ceremony ended. When we're all just like, we're having like a, I don't know, happy hour, I guess we're just kind of shooting the shit.
Yeah, the cocktail hour.
I did make sure to like take a peek inside because I wanted to look at, I was casing the area. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure anyone's going to be sitting, but I was kind of seeing where the table's at. And I was like, okay, I know I'm going to want to stand in that area right there.
Sure.
When I was kind of formulating how I was going to do this, this is kind of a Ohio State business student thing. I knew I wanted to not have to read off of anything. Because that's just how you're taught at Ohio State. You got
sure, yeah.
You don't memorize, you don't read off of it. But it's kind of common now that, and I've watched on YouTube several best man speeches or bridesmaid speeches, and most people, and the ways I've gone to, a lot of people are just reading off their phone. But I knew that I didn't want to do that. It just kind of, I feel like there's just and it's a different field than if you're just if you're not looking off your phone or looking off notes.
100%. Yeah. Did you memorize your speech?
I didn't. For the most part, I didn't. But it's more like it's the way I talk. It's the way I think about it. So it became kind of easy to know which parts. I did forget some parts. And then when I have my notes out, I was like, oh, I forgot to say this or that. And there's kind of a director's cut. I remember some thoughts, some ideas that I had that I couldn't really fit in because it was going too long, and some little quips that I put in there that I didn't remember at the time. For example, there's actually I wanted to mention when I visited you in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. You and Ashley got a bottle of Captain Morgan.
Oh yeah,
that was in the speech.
I think we still have it.
I forgot it when I was up there. But I didn't memorize it word for word, but I did write it down, or actually it was in my phone. But it was kind of easy for me to remember because it's pretty much based off of memory, stuff that we went through as kids, as teenagers, into adulthood. So it was there wasn't a whole lot for me to memorize, which is more of me telling the story.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of the speech, of course, acknowledge the staff, the location, everyone traveled a long way, the people I just met. Of course, there was just no way I was there's no way I was going to leave out anything or mention Ohio State. And of course, it was going to be, there's only one way to acknowledge, and that's to OH everyone.
Yep. And we had the right, for it being a small wedding, we had the right guys there to feed that too, and that we're going to.
I'm surprised there's no there's no betting line of like, okay, what are the odds Alex mentions Ohio State and how far into the speech? There's got to be like the betting odds of what during the Super Bowl when they say how long is the national anthem going to take to sing?
Yeah,
it's like how long until Alex mentions Ohio State? But I remember I wanted to kind of build up, have a small build up to it. But I wanted to like look at you. Look at Dave, Tony, Christina, and be like, I'm going to say it.
Oh, I knew exactly where you're going.
So I did.
Yeah, it was
the OH to everyone, and then there's also how many times do I say it? Because usually if I'm at a bar with Ohio State alumni, you say it you OH 3 times, and then you say like something else afterwards, like "fuck Michigan" or "Go Bucks" or whatever.
Yeah.
During the national championship parade at at Ohio State. I know when Ryan Day was at the podium, he does it twice. And I didn't want it to take too long, so I just did it twice. And then, of course, I had to add in national champions.
Yeah. Dude, it was perfect. It was perfect. Like, it was a great – got everybody up and laughing a little bit, and then fucking we're not going to get into the meat of the speech. It was very personal. It was very special, and I think we're going to keep that between you and me and our close family and friends that were there.
What you can do is you could put it on you can upload it to YouTube and just mark it as private, and it says you could send this link out to whoever you want.
I think I am going to do that because I do. This is actually a full recording of it.
That's from Megan's, right? I think it's Megan's because I pulled it off Megan's and then I cropped it to just the OH part, and that's what I posted on Instagram.
So I don't know if it was Megan or if this was Allie with my DJI camera. It was one of the two.
I think that's Megan's because I copied the file.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was. I tell you what, just without giving up everything, my brother wrote one of the most incredible best man speeches I've ever heard. I think we all thought it was going to be a great speech. We all thought it was going to be fun, and I thought you were going to kill it. But brother, you knocked everybody out, and you were always going to be my best man. But even if I had to choose, I couldn't have picked a better best man, and it was an amazing, amazing speech. I tell you what, between you and David, between you and Ashley's brother, because I thought Ashley's brother, I always knew he was going to give something kind of emotional. And it was a really cool speech, and I thought you were going to do well in terms of probably being a little more, I guess, I don't know if comedic's the right word, but a little more lighthearted. And boy, you tore the house down with it, and you went deep, and so it was one of the most memorable parts of the trip for me was your guys' speeches, especially yours, obviously, you being my little brother and talking to some of our life experiences. It was awesome. So, by the way, thank you for that. That was an amazing, amazing speech.
It was actually fairly easy to write when I think about it, because it was like, I'm just going to pull off, stuff we did as a kid, teenagers, more recent stuff.
Well, it was very well delivered. It was funny because, obviously everybody was there for us. And, I feel very blessed to have had those people come such a long way for us. And it was funny talking to everybody and thinking like, man, I knew my brother was going to give a good speech, but he set us all up. And like, I don't think there was a dry eye in the place. Now, it wasn't the biggest wedding party, but I think you had everybody in tears, and it was something special. And it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I remember
such a memorable week.
Berto mentioning right after I finished, he's like, there's not a dry eye in this room. And then what else do I remember during the speech? At one point, I think when we got to the emotional part, I remember Ashley go, "Damn it, Alex!"
Oh, she did, because it was like I literally go, I'm listening, I'm laughing, I'm like, and then you're getting into it, and then all of a sudden I go, oh shit! I like look for like my napkin to start because the tears are rolling in, and then
I saw you grab the napkin,
and that's when she said, "Damn it, Alex!" It was pretty funny, and you can hear it in the video too. So when you get a chance, like play it back. It's pretty good. I listened to it once already from Megan's because I wanted to crop it down just to the OH part. Sure, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, and maybe without a doubt, there's some bias involved in that opinion, but it was an absolutely epic speech, and it is something that I will never forget. It was very cool. All of you have brothers out there that will be your best man at any point in time. If they even give half the speech that my brother did, you're going to have a very memorable moment.
So kind of
both of you guys, and not to shortchange David, but he gave a hell of a speech too.
Before we move on to David's, kind of behind the scenes detail is that leading up to that, I didn't eat anything. I got a bunch of
I did see you not eating, and I was wondering, and everybody said that
I was like eating little bits of meat and little bits of rice. I was telling people I just ate, so I'm good because I didn't want to have acid reflux when I went up there, which is something that happens. I don't want to be full. I don't want to have a full stomach. I don't want to have the chance of having acid reflux.
I totally get that.
After that, though, after the speech, I ate a shitload.
Good. I was glad. Actually, Ashley and I were talking about it. Like, we're glad we did the speeches when we did because I understood why you weren't eating yet, but I knew you were going to need to eat, and I'm glad you had a chance to eat after you gave your speech. Which, by the way, the food was awesome, but there was so much. There was a shitload of food, and I was like, I got to taste everything, but there was a lot. It was hard to get to everything. Ooh, excuse me, as I burp, thinking about food. Yeah, that was it was a pretty cool moment in the whole day. Trying to find one. Why not have one? I loved having this moment. You and Mom. That was pretty cool.
I didn't see this one yet.
Yeah, this is where is this from? Is this I think this might have been from Ashley's sister-in-law's pictures.
Okay.
So she got some cool pictures. Yeah, it was a pretty awesome day. Let me find one that everybody always wants to see the pictures. Let me find one that's one of my favorites. Is it in here? Please hold. I tell you what, though, you got there Sunday, we got there Friday, and like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, it rained, right? The rehearsal. You remember the bugs during the rehearsal that were fucking crazy?
Yeah,
so we knew
every day except for one day.
Yeah, we had to move the rehearsal dinner indoors. And I had already resigned to the idea that we were going to go completely indoors, but the wedding was going to be in where we had the reception. It was going to be in there if it rained. And I was fine with it. I had come to terms with it, and I was like, you know what? It's still going to be pretty cool. If it's raining, we'll be covered, so nobody's getting wet, and it'll still be beautiful. But I tell you what, it didn't get the weather. Mother Nature was smiling down on us.
Yep. That was actually very, very fortunate, very lucky. Like I said, it rained every day we were there. Not the entire day, but every day we were there, it rained except for one day.
Yeah, and
it didn't rain at all that day.
It didn't. It was hot. It was humid.
No, late at night it didn't rain.
Nope. It was hot and humid, but it's Costa Rica. That's what it was always going to be. And we got, as you can see, myself, my beautiful bride, and we had just about the most perfect sunset you could possibly have behind you when you are reciting your vows. So let's see. Do I have any? Didn't mean to do that. Well, you know what? We're just gonna scroll through some of these because these are some good ones. Well, let's get to the wedding pictures. So this is the rehearsal. I like you with Mom's purse and a drink. That was pretty cool. David and Ashley's mom, and then me and our dad. Our dad looking gangster as always with his hat, and Ashley with her dad at the rehearsal. And then, it was pretty awesome because I hadn't seen her dress before before the wedding day. So I don't know if we have it in here. Let's see if we. That was a fun picture. I think that's actually my profile picture now because it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was one of those things where.
Is that someone's phone or is that a professional?
I think this was one of the ones we got from the photographer.
Okay.
Yeah, she was able to send us a few kind of sneak peek pictures. We won't get everything back until I think mid-June or maybe July. I can't remember. But yeah, it was one of those things where, and again, maybe there's some bias in this, but when people were asking about it this week, how did it turn out? It turned out amazing, and showing pictures, I was like, I gotta tell you, like, as great as those pictures look, to have been there in person, the pictures don't even do it justice, and the pictures look incredible. But to have been there and seen it in person that sunset looked incredible. Like, just the whole setting was beautiful, and Ashley looked beautiful, and hopefully I didn't taint it too much. But I thought I was actually pretty pumped about the way the suits looked. I thought everybody looked good. It was kind of funny one night. I don't know if you were still there or not. I think you might have gone in with Dave and Tony, but David, our buddy David, and then David, Ashley's brother. David and Sarah, Ashley's brother, had walked up, and he was wearing the shoes again. I was like, "Oh, you do like the shoes?" So
I saw that. I saw that he was going to
the Japanese place.
Oh, the Japanese place. Oh, I think I saw him wear it twice.
Oh yeah, I think he did, because he was kind of joking because he lives out in the country, right? He's always wearing either work boots or cowboy boots, or black trainers for the gym. White shoes is not his thing, but he wore them again. I was like, oh, somebody likes the shoes. He goes, I kind of do. He goes, I already promised them to my son, but I kind of want to keep them. So it was a pretty funny moment.
They're good shoes. They're very comfortable. It's just that
they're so comfortable.
They're white, and I'm a dirty guy. I attract a lot of stains.
Yeah. I actually kept the box. I keep shoe trees in them so I can kind of keep the creases out of them, but I do plan on wearing them again.
I still have the box.
Yeah. Keep the paper in there so it keeps it pushed up and will minimize the creasing.
I'll wear them for special occasions.
Yeah. This was another awesome picture that I liked that I got.
Dad not wearing a hat.
Dad me. Still looking good though.
Full on silver hair.
Silver fox, baby.
Well,
Dad's the silver fox.
Kids, yeah, you always had gray hair. He just dyed it black.
Yeah, I told him, like,
he used that just for men.
Well, he tried a couple things, right? He tried like the peppery thing, which just made his hair look brown. It was weird. I'm like, Dad, don't do that. And then he went jet black, and I was like, don't do that either. That just doesn't even look right. I'm like, just roll with it. Like, you have a whole full head of hair, and it'll be fine. And I like it better now than when he was doing the just for men thing. Just going full silver. Looks good. Looks good, Dad. Looks good on you. This was, well, as far as during the ceremony, this was probably where the first time I teared up. Just a little bit. And then, seeing Ashley come down, started rolling a little more. I actually told her dad before we walked down, I said, hey, like, when you give me your hand, like, we're going to hug it out because I'm going to need a second to stop crying before we start this whole thing off. And I think he did too. So he's not a big hugger. But we shared a pretty good hug right there just to give both of ourselves a second to recompose a little bit. And in case you couldn't tell, that is Ashley's brother standing on her side. We didn't do it was kind of funny. He wore the hat that said maid of honor because we didn't have a traditional like wedding party. We just had our siblings standing up there, and for Ashley, it's just her and her brother. So she had her brother standing up there with her. And of course, me having a brother, I got to have a best man and have somebody standing by me too. And I don't know. I thought there was a picture of it.
Do it just not traditional anymore.
It worked out really, really well. I'm really happy about the way it turned out.
I guess traditional is cool also, but
it is
something a little different. I don't know. I think it sticks out more.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about doing it this way, especially in a destination, you definitely understand and appreciate that the people that showed up, there were sacrifices and pretty heavy investments made to be there. So we appreciated everybody that made it. There's a lot of people that couldn't come, and we missed all of them. We still love all of you. But part of the idea of a destination wedding is you get to keep it a little bit smaller. And I think you can attest to this. If we would have done something more traditional in country, that guest list would have been big.
With hundreds of people, yeah.
Just our side. I mean, think of our family, and then, I'm 45 years old. I've lived in Ohio, Chicago, Wisconsin, Kansas City, like England, like to invite all those people that I consider myself close to. My side of the aisle would have been a pretty big party all by itself. Ashley's got a decent sized family too, and she's lived in Wichita and Kansas City, and then has friends that's especially with Lillian, like we have friends that are all over the country and even outside of the country. So it would have been a big guest list.
Yeah, and a lot of moments kind of get lost there. Like if me and Dave were giving our speeches and some people are not going to be able to hear it as well.
Yep. No, I love the intimate setting of it. Yeah, there's always going to be gives and takes. I learned because there's a lot of people that Ashley and I both would have loved to celebrate with and have there, but also, man, when you get a wedding that big, for us, there's different things that are important to people, and having a big wedding is cool, and we've been there and they look like a lot of fun, and I've always had fun at them. I just didn't think that was for me. I'm not good at always staying in touch with people as it is. So to have a few hundred people and then have to make sure like you get around to all of their tables and get your picture taken and everything, that's 1-2 hours all in itself.
It's exhausting. I'm exhausted just thinking about it.
Yeah. But for some people, that is exactly what they want. That is part of the experience, and more power to you, because it is cool. It would be cool to be able to celebrate with all the people that we love and are close to and all that. But, the trade-off for us was we did want a smaller wedding, but that means, you have to give up being able to have everybody there. With that said, I don't regret anything. I miss a lot of people, but I thought it turned out about as perfect as it gets. So it was awesome. And, had my immediate family there. I had you, our sister and brother-in-law, our parents, Ashley's parents, brother and sister-in-law, and then about as close of friends as I've ever had get to be there. So it was a pretty special trip. And, going into the week, I had been kind of wondering, like, did we overshoot a little bit? Like, are we dropping probably a little too much money than we should have been doing? Was this kind of like a pipe dream that is going to blow up in our face? And I got to tell you, it was 100% worth it. I wish I could take credit for it. And I think I told you this. what's been lucky for me is we got to have an amazing, beautiful wedding in a whole week. I didn't do much for it. Ashley did all the legwork. Where
that's how it's supposed to be. Guys aren't good at that.
She wanted me involved, and she did where she really, really wanted me to participate. I did, but for the most part, she took it all on her own, and I think you'd agree she did a pretty good job setting all that up. So,
definitely.
So kudos to my wife. By the way, there's the new bling.
Is that the metal or is that the silicone?
No, this is the gold. This is my gold
Okay.
band. I know. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but I thought I'd wear it for the show and for the weekend. Get a full week of it wearing it in. I have been wearing those silicone ones to work though, just because I do have to climb up on ladders and stuff like that sometimes. So I don't want to get caught on it. The reason a lot of guys wear silicone rings if they're in any job where they might have to do manual labor or be on construction sites is because there's a lot of horror stories of guys on ladders coming down and they slip, get their ring caught on one of the rungs and do some damage to their fingers. So I do have a silicone ring that I've been wearing to work. But because we're recording for the first time since the nuptials, I wanted to wear the gold band and show it off a little bit. We're going to get into that a little bit more in our next segment. But what else did we do in the week, dude? Like, I'm waiting for pictures of is the morning after the wedding, we did a pretty fun ATV trip.
Yeah, it's hard to get pictures of that because we're on the ATVs.
Yeah. I got some video, but I don't have them loaded up yet. And I think Dave got a bunch of pictures, so I need to get a hold of him and have him upload those. But that was such a fun trip.
That was fun. I enjoyed that. I mean, I did crash. That happened, and then there was
one awesome,
part where
dude.
I was wondering if I was gonna die. And we were going. It was that really steep drop.
Oh yeah.
And it's a good thing the guy said, "Brake only, brake only."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no gas. Get your thumb off the throttle because you're not gonna need it. Yeah, it was fun because I mean there's a lot of different elements. Like Lillian is not an outdoorsy person, isn't much of an outdoorsy person at all in terms of that sort of thing. I knew Christina would do it. I guess I'm not that surprised Paul didn't do it, but I knew Christina would do it, but she's never really ridden a four-wheeler either.
I haven't either. That was my first time.
Mikey hasn't driven a motorized vehicle in almost 20 years. So it was really funny to like, and he doesn't do well in the sun. Like he's a vampire. His joke is that he's allergic to the sun because he's so pale.
He's a vampire.
My joke with Mikey is that, man, we had to get you to Costa Rica to be able to see you in a pool and drive a motorized vehicle, huh? So it was funny. I could tell he was a little bit nervous because, like I said, he hasn't driven a motorized vehicle in 20 years. All of a sudden, it's a type of vehicle he's never driven, and he's in a different country on the roads with traffic like whizzing by him. So you could tell he was a little nervous, but I thought he did great. I think Tony and Dave really liked seeing Ashley on it because I don't think they realize, like, they know she's from the country, but I don't think they realize just how country
she goes for it. It's like,
she goes for it, dude.
Fuck it, dude, I'm gonna floor it.
Oh, dude, we got into some of those water crossings, and I slowed up, and I got Tony come up by me and like, hey, watch this. And she was because she was stopped, and Tony was like, what is she doing? I'm like, oh, she's waiting for Mikey to get across. And I'm like, I go, watch this. As soon as Mikey got across, she was on that throttle, splashing all the way through the water. And Tony was just like, awesome. I was like, dude, she'll go for it every time. So it was pretty cool. I wish I had those pictures, and whenever we get those, we'll show those off a little bit.
There was a guy that was taking, I don't know if he's taking video or taking photos. So I don't know if that was for us or for like their marketing.
Yeah, no. So they gave David a link after the trip that had all those pictures and videos and stuff. So that's what I'm waiting for him to upload. I think he needs to download them from that link first and then upload them to that folder. But yeah, my other favorite part, with no offense, but like you had never ridden before, and I had you. That's why I had you go right between Tony and Dave, because I'm like, you're not by one of the guides, and quite frankly, I think you'll have more fun with those two because they have about as much experience on those things as anybody. So
yeah,
you were in good
turn
hands.
it on. I was like, hey, Dave, or Tony, how do I turn this thing on again?
Just like
I didn't turn it off. I turned it on. Okay.
It's like the push button in the car. You turn the key and then you hit the button. You crashing was kind of funny just because I knew you were all right. And
well, hurt my groin a little bit. That's why I popped up. That's why I popped up so fast and jumped off, because I was like, hold on, this might suck in a few seconds. And then I was like, okay. My taint's a little bruised, but my balls are okay. Yeah, so pretty much I think I was just...
I'll recover.
This is my first time steering this fucking thing.
You did great, dude. You did great.
I think I came up that hill a little fast. I didn't steer enough and lost control. And I think I tried to steer and it didn't go where I wanted to.
You probably slide your thumb on the throttle and forgot to turn it off. I've done that before.
There's a tree. Boom.
Yep. You know what's funny is when we were a lot younger, still in high school, I had limited experience on that, but we were up in Michigan. I was with David and Tony and Tony's dad, and they were still 3-wheelers at the time. So we went trail riding, and I did the same thing. I kind of went up something and got in the gas and was trying to stop, but I forgot to take my thumb off the throttle and pinned myself into a tree. So it kind of came around. I didn't think about that until just now. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Oh, this is the one I was looking for. I'm just gonna share it. This is my new Facebook profile picture. Man, that sunset is something else. But anyway, I just want to show that off. The other thing we got to do, which unfortunately everybody had left except for our parents, so we did it with our parents, was we did a jet ski trip. Oops.
Yeah, that looked cool.
So this is, I think you might have heard of people talk about like Monkey Head Island. That is Monkey Head Island. There's no really way to like stop and get off there. And in fact, on the other side, the reason we didn't go. Island? What's that?
How do monkeys get on that island?
There's no monkeys on the island.
Oh, okay.
It's just a big rock that, if you look at it, looks like King Kong's head.
It was a gorilla.
There's really no way to get on there and keep your jet ski close because the waves are just crashing into it. Like if you got on there, your jet ski would be shredded by the time you got off of there. And the reason we didn't go to the other side, all kinds of sharks.
Fuck that shit, dude. I lived in Southern California long enough, and I've had times where I went too far deep in the ocean, and I went, yeah, this is probably past my limit.
Yeah.
And I've seen enough video from like bird's eye view helicopters are like, this is not a shark, just a shark. This is a great white shark.
Yeah.
Right by the fucking beach, right by the fucking pier, or really close to the shoreline. I'm like, okay, well, humans are born on land for a reason.
Yeah.
That's not where we belong. We do not belong in the ocean.
Which, by the way, we're not absent-minded to think that there were no sharks around us. Like there could absolutely be sharks on this side too, but I guess like it kind of gets a little bit deeper there, so they tend to be a little more abundant on the other side of that. That's going out more toward the deeper ocean. But it was a fun trip. What is this one? I think this is Ashley feeding the monkey.
That looks like my monkey.
Yep. Hey.
Where are you feeding?
So she was pretty excited about that. And
what's that? Was there a tour guide with you?
There was, but they are not responsible for us feeding the monkeys. we'll just leave it at that.
What food did you give it? Was it a banana?
Yeah, I had like some pineapple, but the bananas worked the best. And then this was out by one of the beaches. There was like a cave. So we took a cool picture there. I got some video and I'll have to get them uploaded. show them off a little bit later. But some of the sounds we realized were like from these caves that can be buried when the tide is high. It sounds like thunder with the water just like pounding into them and just air shooting out. It was wild, but it was pretty cool. I really like the this picture with us in front of Monkey Head Island. That might be a background for me somewhere. But yeah, your boy got married. It's Facebook official. And yeah, we're doing some things. We got some new hardware, which, you know. Oh, before we get off, hey, Dad, watch this. How was the trip back to Chicago?
It was all right. Where do we go? Went to Houston. It's pretty smooth from what I could tell. Going through Houston and then back into Midway. Yeah, so there were no problems getting back there.
That's cool.
It was late by the time we got back to Chicago, so they didn't want to drive to Mom's, so I just stayed at our sister's place.
Oh, okay. I thought you went all the way back to Mom's.
No.
Did you leave the next day, or did you?
In the morning, I went with them to go pick up the dog, which was in the city. So I got to check out the city. Chicago's awesome this time of year, as long as it's not raining.
Yeah.
And it was one of those. It was one of those days where it's like, dude, the city is awesome. It just looks great because it was sunny, maybe a little bit of clouds, and it just looked cool. So we went and picked up the dog. We stopped by a Filipino bakery. Did we stop by anywhere else? No, we didn't. And then they dropped me off at Mom's, where I housed on some curry.
Oh, you just went to Mom's for a little bit and then left that day?
Yeah, I was probably at Mom's for maybe 3 hours, maybe.
Oh, okay.
And then we got an Uber to go to O'Hare, and I didn't really think about it, but it was rush hour.
Oh, geez.
But luckily, I did build in a big buffer of like, okay, I want to make sure I get to O'Hare at a good time.
Was that Friday?
That was Friday. Yep.
Oh shit! So you were fighting with like everybody getting off work.
Yep.
On a Friday, right on.
The Uber driver, he said straight off, like, there's a lot of traffic. So he took a lot of non-freeway roads.
Nice. I like having a cab or an Uber driver that knows what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So he took a lot of non-freeway roads until we got close enough. Then he jumped on the freeway.
Gotcha. Did on the plane rides, did you get a glimpse of the volcanoes at all?
No, I didn't see them at all.
But
I was also let's see, was I in? I was in an aisle seat. I was Southwest. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we did window seats on the way there. I think we did aisle seats on the way home though. But yeah, this was one of the volcanoes you flew over on the way there. I don't remember what the name of it is. I don't know if this is Irenaeus or not. But yeah, that was kind of a cool thing to see. This is all before my phone took a dip in the pool, so that's why I had
Did you get that replaced already?
I did, yeah. Yep.
Did you upgrade it or did you get the same phone?
Same phone. They gave me a different color. I had like the dark gray or black one. But they sent me like a silver one, which is fine. It's in a case.
Yeah. That's the thing now. Like I even whenever I get a new phone, I'm like, oh, I want that color. Then I'm like, I'm just gonna put a case on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see the color of it once in 3 years.
Yeah. The one thing I was disappointed though is I went to the store to get my screen protector because if something happens to it, they'll replace the screen protector for free because it's like a tempered glass.
Yeah.
But when they were putting it on, what I noticed is like when you get a replacement phone, it's usually a refurbished phone.
Yep.
Which, by the way, I think we might as well just say we're an iPlay nerd now. They didn't do a very good job polishing the glass. So the actual screen had a bunch of little like micro scratches in it. So I was like, oh, that's kind of lame. But whatever. I put the tempered glass on there and it's fine. It works. But yeah, got a new phone. So I'm back in business, back on the Facebooks and the Instagrams, and now I can take more pictures and videos and stuff. So yeah. This isn't really a toy, but something we saw a whole bunch of. Let me see if I can find a better picture. I guess I don't have any. These guys. Look at this guy.
That's
all over the resort.
It's a huge ass salamander. I don't know. I'm not an animal expert.
There were iguanas all over the resort. Like, I don't think we went a day without seeing at least 2 or 3 of them.
Big iguanas. These are not little
big
lizards.
Old boys, man.
I get lizards. I get tons of lizards here. I ran over one a couple of weeks ago. I saw it was in the parking space, and I was like, "Oh, I ran over a lizard. It was all smashed. That's kind of gross."
There's actually a bunch of lizards too, but they're really small.
Yep. That's kind of
where I would see them were like at night on the sides of the buildings, like going back to the rooms and stuff.
The iguanas are like this bigger than a chihuahua, I'd say.
Yeah, I was trying to find one where. So what we were told was the grand brown ones are not local. They're actually more invasive. It's these green ones that are more native to Costa Rica, which I don't know if you can see that. There's his head right there. This was from the pool.
That's screen sharing.
Oh shit! There we go. Let me back that up. So there's our friend right there. He actually ate the pineapple out of my or the orange out of my drink.
Did you throw it at him?
I might have just set it down. I took it out of my drink and just set it down. And
set it down where, on a table?
No, this was from the pool. This was let me think. This was the day that you guys were arriving, and then the next day is when I drowned my phone. But this guy was just in the bush right by the pool. So I'm literally in the pool right now, taking that video. There's my orange slice right there.
Did you get a video of him eating it?
I was trying to figure out if I did or not, actually. Oh, here he goes. Here he goes.
Get it.
Get it. Get it, bud. That's for you. There he goes. Yep. He knows.
Well, now I know iguanas eat fruit.
They eat the whole thing, the rind and everything. So, yep, that was my new friend. I'm sure I've got other stuff to show, but why don't you show us something, man? I know you actually did get some new stuff.
As far as what I brought back from Costa Rica, I wanted to get some souvenirs, and I kind of stuck to plushies, to stuffed animals, because I had to put it. I had to stuff in some luggage. I didn't want anything to break. So
yeah, dude.
When I was at the pool, I got a nice little monkey.
I like that little monkey. That's pretty cool.
He kind of, I don't know where I'm putting. I think I have him hanging. Usually I have him hanging in my kitchen, but I don't want to stain his shirt. And then when I was at the airport, I got another monkey, which more resembles the monkeys that we saw. Kind of generic.
Yeah, that's the howler monkey.
They just put let's put Costa Rica on his foot. So you know where you got it from. And then I knew I wanted an iguana. So once again at the airport, I got this little guy.
Yeah.
And where does it say on his? Of course, they want to put Costa. Yeah, it's hard to see there. They put Costa Rica on his hand, and this is more of a slap bracelet type thing.
I like it.
That's why I like this, because that's what they do when you're around. They're just hanging out on a freaking tree.
On the tree, yeah.
You can do the same.
I think it would be cool if the howler monkey, if you could have found a howler monkey like that too.
So he does that. The monkey has Velcro on his hand, so you can have him hang on stuff.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I like that. Did I tell you? So we saw the howler monkeys on the ATV trip, right?
Yep.
And then when we did the jet skis with our parents and feeding the howler monkeys, we got peed on by the howler monkeys. They're like all over the tree. I'm like, I feel like somebody's about to get peed on. And sure enough, got peed on. Both Ashley and I did. I was like, what? I think I think we both just got peed on.
That's good luck, right?
Yeah.
Ask the natives, is that good luck? They're like, no.
Yeah, we definitely just went with it. Yeah, maybe it must be good luck because, like when you get shit on by a bird, it's supposed to be good luck. Which, ironically, the day I was proposing, Ashley had asked me if I would walk the dog, so I was like, let me take that opportunity. I went outside with the dog, and I was talking to Lillian, because Lillian was helped me set up my proposal. And sure enough, while I'm talking to Lillian, I got shit on by a bird. So it was pretty funny.
When we were on the ATV trip, and we saw the monkeys, and we took that break at that one market, and people were looking at their pictures that they took, and Lillian and Asher were talking about the pictures of the monkeys. They said, I got a picture of the monkey's balls.
Oh yeah,
you have the monkey balls.
Oh man, I wish I had that.
I want to customize this monkey, put balls on him.
What's funny is that it was one of the guys that were like, zoom in on that.
I don't know how I'm going to make monkey balls, but I want to put monkey balls on this guy.
Yeah, we didn't really get a whole. Well, no, she got a few new things. She got a new bracelet. We got a picture frame that we're gonna try and put one of our pictures in, whether it's one of the jet skiing pictures or one of our wedding pictures. And then one of the picture frames we got was for her aunt, who wasn't able to make the trip. So she lives right next to Ashley's parents. So we're gonna put something together for her, and then got a couple little puzzle jewelry boxes for a couple little girls that we are close to here, and then she got some bracelets and stuff. So
I think Christina and Paul got some art from I think some guy he paints or does some on bird feathers and looks really cool.
Oh yeah,
that's the kind of thing where I'm like, I can't. That's not gonna survive my trip back.
That's why I thought those were cool, but I was just like, I'm gonna ruin that.
Yeah, the glass is gonna break. The feathers gonna get fucked up in my luggage. And
I like those. I don't know if you saw those surfboards. Those were kind of cool too. But
I wanted one of those too. But that's another thing. I'm like, dude, that's gonna.
I was like, I'm gonna be so mad at myself when I break that. So I stuck the things that could survive. That I could pack. Like I was actually worried about those.
I got little stuffed animals. I'm like, just fucking stuff them in there.
Yeah.
Throw them in your luggage. They'll be fine.
I did get myself a new sun shirt, which it's underneath this life vest, but it was fucking expensive, but it was worth it. Out there, like little sun protection. I was like, I should probably wear something. And it was nice because when it got wet, it had like a cooling effect. So it was kind of cool.
I spent a lot of time in the sun there, and then when I got back, I spent a lot of time on the beach here in the sun, and then because I got back on Friday. I got back here Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So Saturday I was on the beach, and then Sunday I was at the pool here in my apartment complex. It's like pretty much I'm trying to get burnt, and it didn't happen.
Well, you're already dark, so I don't know that you're going to get burnt very much.
I was like, yeah, well, I still don't get burnt.
I do. I don't get. I mean, not to the extent that other people get burned, but yeah.
My skin will get flaky, like it'll get dry, but it doesn't hurt at all. It's just like, oh look, my skin looks dry. Put some lotion on it.
Yeah, no, you can definitely see it in here. This is another picture with one of the iguanas, but. Like you zoom into my shoulders and you can definitely see where I got burnt. But it like for me, and even you don't get burnt, so you probably don't have to worry about it. But
I don't know what that's like.
For me, like it's like a day and I'm good. Especially if I put a little aloe on it at night. I'm right as rain the next day. So yeah. What else was I going to ask you about? Did the sun feel different in Costa Rica than it does in LA? Or not in LA, but...
Not really. Not that I can tell. I mean, you're gonna feel different because of the humidity.
Yeah.
But as far as the sun goes, nah, I didn't really notice it.
Man, it was.
Maybe it does. If you took away the humidity, maybe I'd be able to tell. But the humidity is so overpowering that's what you notice.
Yeah. I tell you what, it was more humid than it is here around Kansas City, but I will take that humidity all day, every day, because when the wind blows there, if you can get a breeze, there's a cooling effect to it. I mean, it's not that cool because it's still Costa Rica. You're down by the equator, but being close to the ocean, you're going to have a little bit of a cooling effect where here, sometimes the breeze makes you just feel nastier and hotter because it feels like a hairdryer. Like, I don't get it, but yeah, it's not my thing. Not my thing. Well, anyway, I do like the plushie toys. I wish I would have thought about that. Especially, I like that slab bracelet. I wish I would have got a couple of those.
Yeah, I definitely wanted an iguana. I mean, they had all kinds of animals. They had sharks. They had alligators. I fucking hate alligators, dude. I don't know. I just fucking hate alligators and crocodiles.
They're scary.
Yeah, I feel like they should have been extinct with the dinosaurs, and God made a mistake.
Well, I think there's a reason they survived, and that's you should respect that.
Sharks, I'm not a big fan of sharks.
Yeah, but at least they're not coming out of the water to that too much.
But I know I wanted a monkey. I wanted an iguana.
I like those because you saw them.
Yeah, exactly.
You saw a few of them. So I do like that. That's kind
of course,
cool.
If I saw an alligator, I don't think I get an alligator. I'm like, fuck, get away. Fuck, run.
When I was in Florida, I wanted to see the alligators, but I didn't want to get very close to them. Because I didn't want them just to, I don't know. I'm fine with the ones at the zoo because obviously they're in their little sanctuary. But I've seen them in the wild a couple times, and as long as they stay far away from me, I'm good. But yeah, it was a pretty cool trip, and one of the things that I do in preparation for a trip is download some stuff for the plane ride, which brings us into our next segment. What you watching? Did you download anything for the plane trips down?
Other than podcasts, no. I just go with whatever
in-flight entertainment.
Yeah, in-flight entertainment. So when I was flying,
usually they have newer movies, so it's actually not a bad way to go.
I did watch some movies. I did watch some TV shows that I go back and watch. I was watching Community, which is a show I really enjoyed. One of my top five TV shows. I was revisiting How I Met Your Mother. I was like, yeah, I still like this.
Oh, nice.
I watched. I watched movie-wise. Venom. Venom 3 I watched, and Kraven the Hunter, which are more Spider-Man type movies, which they didn't do very well. And then that was it as far as the plane rides go. I mean, I spent a lot of time scrolling, like, what do I want to watch? I started to watch Nosferatu, and then I was like, when you're on a plane, it's a different feeling. It's hard to watch it because you don't hear as well. You're on a tablet or a phone. There's a bunch of people around. It's kind of hard. There's lights come in and out.
Yeah.
And sometimes a pilot makes an announcement. And you're like, hold on, I should probably listen to that. So it's a little bit harder to enjoy the entire experience of the movie or the TV show. Which is kind of like why I like to go back to stuff I've seen before. But when something that happened, actually, our sister on the way back, she watched The Beekeeper, which you watched before, and I remember you said you liked it. She said she liked it. So when I got back here at home in Southern California, I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch The Beekeeper. Kind of spoiler, I didn't finish it because I fell asleep because it was late at night. I'm gonna try to finish it tonight actually. But there's one part closer to the beginning where I hear someone's voice. One of the bad guys. I'm like, I know that voice sounds familiar. I know that voice, and then they show his face. I'm like, dude, that's one of my old training buddies.
Oh, seriously?
Oh yeah.
Shit.
He does movies and TV shows.
Oh, that's cool. I thought you were going to talk about Jesse from Breaking Bad.
Oh, I didn't know he's in the movie. I haven't gotten to that part yet.
Actually, I take it back. It's not Jesse from Breaking Bad. He reminds me of him.
But one of my old training buddies is in there. The guy
that's awesome.
I remember when he first started because he's a big dude, big Japanese dude. I think he played football, and I was like, "Oh god, look at this fucking meathead! I don't know how long he's gonna last." And then he ended up lasting a long time. He actually opened up his own gym back over in Anaheim or Orange, up in that area. So
That's
I
cool.
remember the voice, and then I saw him, and I was like, "There he is!"
That's funny. So on the way down, I watched Beekeeper. I had already seen it though, kind of to your point. And there's a lot of different things that might kind of distract from you watching. So I usually pick a movie that I've seen before and I like, but I haven't seen in a while. So I actually watched Beekeeper on the way down. And if I fall asleep during it and wake back up later, I already know what happened. It's not a big deal. I got to tell you, the first flight, so from Kansas City to Houston, because we flew Southwest down. We were at the airport like 4 o'clock in the morning. And like, I just didn't go to bed the night before. In fact, you and I recorded a podcast that night. I just didn't go to bed the night before and just stayed up. And as soon as we got on the plane, like I sat down and got comfortable, I was out before any announcements were made. I was so far out. I don't know if they tried to wake me up or anything, but we were almost landing by the time I woke up.
That's awesome.
In Houston.
I love that.
I don't remember. What's funny is the only reason I woke up is because they were making announcements to prepare for landing and all that. And they were talking about, make sure your seatbelts are buckled. And I was already twisting around trying to adjust, like get things in my pocket. And then I realized it. I turned to Ashley, I go, I always fell asleep before we ever took off. She's like, yeah. I'm going to go, I never buckled my seatbelt. So I'm like trying to twist around like I had my seatbelt on, and I realized I don't have a seatbelt on. Never did the entire flight until we were landing. I buckled it because I was awake, but I was so far out, like I was so dead asleep. If they tried to wake me up, I didn't wake. They probably just assumed my belt was on and just left me alone, or just didn't care. I don't know, but I was like, oh shit. Flew this entire flight without a seatbelt on. Whoops. Not on purpose. No disrespect to
Southwest didn't come after you.
I didn't mean it. I just 4 o'clock in the morning, I fell asleep hard, and just usually I'm pretty good about buckling my seatbelt pretty much right when I sit down. Apparently, I never did.
Actually, when I always fall asleep closer to right as we get into the air. I think it has to do with the air pressure, maybe the G-forces. And then I don't know how long I'm out for. Maybe 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, maybe up to 20 minutes. But what sucks is whenever I wake up and I'm like, all right. And I'm like, why does everyone have cookies and crackers but me?
Oh, that's the worst. You wake up right after they pass you. Yeah, that sucks.
Like, damn it. I really wanted that cookie.
Dude.
I can go chase down the flight attendant, but I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, I don't either. Southwest had some graham crackers that were freaking delicious. I don't know if you got them or not on one of the legs.
Yeah, we got them.
Oh my god,
I got them on one flight.
So good.
One flight didn't have them. I'm like, what the hell? Because they gave us graham crackers and pretzels on one flight, and the other flight they just gave us pretzels. I'm like, where are the graham crackers?
Yeah, the graham crackers are my favorite part. The pretzels are really good too, by the way. Those are gourmet pretzels. They actually sell them at so the award-winning chef that Ashley works for opened up like a grab-and-go store where you can get like gourmet ingredients, homemade pastas and stuff like that, their own recipes as far as sauces and all that, sandwiches, and they sell those pretzels in there, and they're really good. But those graham crackers were the shit, and I want to find them and buy them. But yeah. So anyway, definitely watch Beekeeper. What else did I watch? I tried to watch the OJ American Manhunt, OJ Simpson.
That's not for a plane ride.
Nope, I fell asleep.
Unless you've seen it before.
I fell asleep, and I actually finally just finished it today because it was my first opportunity to. I tried to watch it during the week, but we started like when Ashley got home, and I was asleep, but before we even got 5 minutes into it, so I did watch the rest of it today. Pretty good. Like, man, it's crazy what I don't know if you've seen it, but it's crazy just how much evidence was not presented in the murder trial. Crazy. Like, unbelievable. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I've been watching.
Did we talk about the Naked Gun revival?
No. Oh, we might have, but I didn't realize that was serious.
Because I think it's Liam Neeson, and I think he plays a son, which is weird because Liam Neeson's pretty old. But at some point in the trailer, I need to watch this again. But everyone from the original Naked Guns, I think they're already dead. They've already passed on. So oh God, what's his name? The original guy, Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen. I just realized you said Liam Neeson instead of Leslie Nielsen.
Liam Neeson is in the new one.
Yeah, and that's I'm only realizing it because I just brought this up. I looked it up and I was just like, oh, you did mean to say Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson is the new one. And then, so they show Liam Neeson. They show pictures of They show pictures of Leslie Nielsen. God, they have the same. Their names are so similar.
I know.
Leslie Nielsen, Priscilla Presley, and O.J. Simpson, and they kind of pay homage to him. They're like, they look at Leslie Nielsen. Like, oh, I miss him. Yeah. And then they show Priscilla Presley. Oh, I miss her. Yeah. And then they show O.J.'s son, and he turns to the camera and goes, nope.
I might have to look that one up.
I want to rewatch that. I think I've only seen parts of it. I know the big part. I know the O.J. Simpson part, but I want to see it again.
Is that on YouTube somewhere?
Oh yeah. Just type in.
I gotta find that.
I think it's called. I don't know what it's called. Well, type in Naked Gun because it's gonna. They'll have the new one.
That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'll have to look that one up later. I'm sure it's one of these actually.
Yep. See, there it is.
I just don't want to get copywritten, so we won't go into that too much. But yeah, it was so kind of recapping, just because I know we're coming up on 90 minutes here. What a great week! What a special week, bro. Along with all the rest of our family and friends, thank you for making the wanting to put the investment and the time in to come be there for us. It was awesome. What a great trip. Not to sound real cliche, but honestly, probably easily happiest day of my life. And you were part of it, so thank you for that. We're not going to get into too much breaking news. I feel like we've taken up a lot of time just talking about this. I think it's time to get into some closing thoughts. What do you have for us?
Nothing well thought out, but hell, I got lotion here. Remember to moisturize.
I use a lot of lotion while we're there. Trying to keep my skin hydrated with all the sun that we were getting.
It's kind of weird because I have really dry skin, but I have a really oily face.
Yeah.
And I have really oily hands too, but my arms are dry. The rest of my body's dry. My hands are always oily. My face is oily.
I do have an oily face. I don't know why. And yeah, the dry. So I do have to lotion up every once in a while. Yeah, moisturize. I think that's a good one. My thoughts? Trust in the process. When you're planning something big, just for a wedding, do what you want to do. Don't worry about everybody else. The people that there's going to be a lot of people that want to be there for you, and not everybody can make it, and that's okay. The people that do, putting that time in, and definitely appreciate them getting there and doing some special things for you. It was an amazing, amazing, amazing time. We got to, see a few people that we don't get to see enough. And it was one of the more special moments in my life for sure. I look forward to sharing more of it with you guys when we get more pictures and videos ready. But yeah, to sum it up, I'm not crying, you're crying. That's kind of how it went. What a special time. Bro, thanks again for being there for me.
Of course.
Thanks for the words.
Would never miss it.
Johnny, we still miss you, bro. Hope to have you back soon. And we're just going to shut off there. Let me get some stuff ready for us to rock on out of here. There we go. Get that going. Guys, we're going to call it there. Thanks again for joining us for another episode of the GAJ Podcast. We are back on our normal recording schedule for the most part now, and we will see you next week. Adios, everybody. Show off some bling.
Monkey balls, monkey balls.
Yeah, we got to add some monkey balls. Have fun, everybody. See you next time.